whole group's going, yeah, it's kind of the mob mentality. You know, and everybody kind of loses their own thought, and you can join in with the crowd, and it gets a lot worse. To make it not quite so dramatic, but I kind of liken it to like when the Planning Commission, for example, looks at a proposed project and they have to do landscaping. And everybody thinks, yeah, they need to do some landscaping. This is a good idea, and they ought to do it here. Well, pretty soon, the individual members of the group are going, okay, yeah, I think you need to put in some flowers. Yeah, and you need to put in some shrubs, says the next one. And then the next one says, I think you need to put in some trees. And then finally it's like, you gotta put in mature sequoia trees. You know, be careful about going over the top when you all agree on something. It's fine if you all agree, but be careful because you can really shift as a group. So it's just a dynamic to be aware of. How do you depolarize a group? When everybody agrees, or is that kind of is a tendency to happen in a group? The easiest way to depolarize a group is to put one person on the group that doesn't agree. One juror who doesn't agree with everybody else has a dramatic effect on what the outcome of the interview is. And so that's again that diversity. Get some people on a group, and again, it shows that groups that are diverse, that are not polarized, make better decisions than groups that are. So, that's something to be aware of. All right. So, what's the role of discussion then? If it tends to have all of these issues and these problems, maybe we shouldn't have discussion, right? We should just have the issue brought up and whatever happens with it, and then don't talk about it, just vote. Yeah, maybe. But discussion can serve an important role. It can bring out information you may not know. Okay? Again, I go back to a planning commission meeting that I was involved with in Centerville. There was a proposal for a shopping area on property, just a small little commercial building that was proposed. Everybody thought it was a good idea. They were going to go forward with it. They had the public there, a few members of the public. Nobody seemed to have any problem with it. There was an old farmer there. And he got up finally at one point and he said, if you do that, you're going to have real problems. Because I used to farm that land, and there's an old spring, a well, right in the corner of that property where you're thinking of doing that. And nobody knew that. They went and looked, and sure enough, he was right. So having discussion can bring information to you that you don't know, or that you don't have. So there's a value in discussion. And that really happens on a factual basis. So make sure, listen as a discussion proceeds, and try to pick up information that you don't know, because it'll help you make a better decision. Now, as far as opinion goes, when somebody expresses opinions, don't just accept somebody else's opinion. Say, well, that's your opinion. You've heard people say that a lot of times. That's your opinion. Yeah, right, it is. Doesn't necessarily mean, it probably means you shouldn't just agree with them just because. But at least it may help you to think a little bit about what your opinion is and why you think the way you do. So that's the value of discussion. That's something that we need to remember. And what this means for you as a member of a group is, it's not good for you to just sit there and say nothing, because that doesn't lend value, doesn't bring something to the group. You're on the group to help them make better decisions, and the way you help them make better decisions is by talking, right? Don't just accept what other people say. Talk yourself and express opinions and ideas and information. By all means, give out information if you've got it that the group as a whole doesn't have. Because, nothing's worse than a group that is going down a path and they're going there and you're sitting there going, that's going to be so bad. And at the end, when the decision's made and things turn out bad, I knew that was going to happen because this is the deal. And well, why didn't you share that with the group? Okay? That's your role. That's why you're there. That's your responsibility. So keep that in mind. And then the way we make decisions. That's the third factor. Remember how we aggregate those decisions, how we make the best way to get a decision that really is effective and is most effective is anonymous. What that means is, our boards and commissions, to really get the best decision out of them, is to have everybody write down their vote on a piece of paper, drop it in a box, have somebody count it, and then the chair announce what the vote is. That's the best way to get a decision. Like, for example, like on elected bodies and boards, bodies like planning commissions, it says in the state code that the vote of every member shall be recorded. Has to be in the minutes, has to be in the record, how every member voted. So you're not going to get away with that, of doing it anonymously. So if we can't do that, what's the next best thing? Now it's sequential voting. Fred, what's your vote? Susie, what's your vote? Bill, what's your vote? Don't do that. That's probably the worst way. Probably, given the environment that we're in, it's more like all in favor say aye, all opposed say nay. And then when you get that, then say, all right, now for the purposes of the record, we have to record everybody's vote. Who all voted aye, who all voted nay. Okay. That's the best way. That's probably as good as we can do under the conditions that we have, the circumstances that we have. Be careful with that, though. There's an interesting thing that can happen with that. All in favor say aye. All in favor say nay. The chair goes, okay, sounds like those in favor have it. Now let's record the votes. Hey, wait a minute, this doesn't add up. What happened? Somebody changed their vote between the time they spoke it and the time it gets recorded. That's then what you do. That's kind of an interesting thing. But just be aware, that's probably the best way to do it. So, we're at 10 o'clock. We're at the end. It's not a perfect world. We're in small groups. We can't always do everything that would lead to the best possible decisions, but if we're aware of the things that affect how we make decisions. Now we try to strive for maximum diversity, independent conclusions, and among that diversity, of course, welcome dissent, and be cordial about it, be civil about it, and welcome it, because it helps you. It's going to lengthen your meeting time, because you're going to have to spend some time talking or thinking about the dissent, but it makes for better decisions. So, diversity, dissent, the independence of your decisions, your conclusions, and with that, what that means in the discussion, think about how discussion works and what you're getting out of the discussion and what you're adding to the discussion, and then how you make that conclusion in the end, how you vote. And it'll help us to make better decisions. So, any questions, comments? I'm done, Johnny. Thanks.